Today I will talk about David Bach's book, The Automatic Millionaire. David is a firm believer that you can become a millionaire, no matter how much you earn. Now, David claims that you also don't need a lot of money to get rich. In fact, it only takes $5 a day. Most people believe that the secret to getting rich is finding new ways to increase their income. Ask anyone who got a raise last year if their savings have increased. In almost every case, the answer will be no. Just look at yourself. You probably earn more today than you did 10 years ago, but are you richer now? What about your personal wealth? Are you able to save more? Most likely, you will answer no, because the more we earn, the more we spend. How much you earn has almost no effect on whether you become rich or not. You must agree that no matter the size of your income, you probably already earn enough to become rich. I'll repeat the last part again. Regardless of the size of your earnings, you probably already earn enough to become rich. I can already hear your indignation. Okay, what I earn is barely enough to cover my monthly expenses, and you tell me that even with such an income, I can still get rich. First, I'm not the author, and second, yes, you're right. You can become rich due to what you earn right now. You definitely need to believe in it, not only with your mind, but also with your heart. And at this moment, an insight comes that can really change your life financially. You are probably now wondering what the secret is. The latte factor concept, which states that if instead of spending $5 a day on coffee, you invest this amount, then you will become rich. To be honest, as soon as I read this, I stopped reading the book and told myself about yet another financial guru who advised me to stop drinking coffee. I'm not going to give up my favorite drink to save $5. I plan to return the book and get my money back, but then I continued reading just to have fun and see what other stupid things the author would say. I'm glad that I did this because I made the mistake of giving it a hasty assessment. I discovered that the latte factor is actually not about the latte, as it might seem because of its name. The reason it is called the latte factor has to do with how this concept was born. David says that at one of his seminars, one woman complained that what he taught was not applicable since I barely have enough money until the end of the month, and she could not even save an additional $5 for subsequent investment. After analyzing her daily expenses, David discovered that she spends about $5 every morning for coffee and muffins and another $5 for snacks around 11 a.m. So every day she spends $10 by 11 a.m., and it's not even lunchtime yet. David asked the woman to guess how much money she could save for retirement if she started investing half of these $10, which she thought would turn out to be somewhere around $70,000 or $80,000. After some calculations, the woman was shocked to learn that if she invested $5 a day with a return of 10% per annum by the time she retired, she could have $1.2 million. It was a powerful incentive to change her habits, and the latte factor was born. Some of you probably thought that this didn't apply to you because you don't drink coffee, and even if you did, you would never spend what she spends on a latte. If you think so, then you are missing the point, just like I did when I first heard of the latte factor. The main thing here is not the latte. The author tells us that we do not realize how much money we spend on little things and how it can change our lives if we just change our habits a little. Probably your latte factor is not a latte, but the money you spend on bottled water, cigarettes, soft drinks, chocolate bars, fast food, subscriptions, and the like. We all spend too much money on unnecessary small expenses without realizing how much they add up to the total. The latte factor varies from person to person. For you, it may be eating out or cigarettes, but for someone else, it's a second home or a second car that he doesn't use. I'll explain in a few minutes how to find your latte factor, but first, let's take a look at the following table and see what an investment of $5 a day with a 10% return might look like after 40 years. Here's the amount of money you're losing if you don't identify and get rid of it from its latte factor. If you want to determine your latte factor, simply track your spending for a week. If this is too long for you, do the same for 2 days. Without changing your behavior, write everything down, and I really mean everything, even if something costs a few cents. Regardless of whether you pay for the drains with cash or a credit card, the author strongly recommends taking notes. Don't keep everything in your head, because numbers written on paper will give much more of the best result. This exercise will allow you to clearly see what you are spending money on. This is where we say, yes, but. Yes, but is what people always say to find a rational explanation for their current lives and not take new actions for themselves. How to find out if you are a stickler for tactics? Yes, but. You are probably one of them if you are talking to yourself now and talking about yourself in the following ways. Yes, but I don't spend money on anything. Yes, but taking into account the inflation of everything else, $1 million in 30 years will not be of much value. It is a misconception. It will cost more than you think, and it will, of course, cost much more than nothing. What will you be left with if you don't start saving money right now? Yes, but I will never be able to get a 10% return on the money invested. Even if you get 5%, you can still earn $500,000, which is not bad at all. Yes, but in reality, I will not be able to save small amounts of money to invest them. To be able to invest, you need much more. This is a misconception. These days, you can create automatic investment plans by investing just $1 a day. Yes, but even if I find a way to save an extra $5 a day, I don't know where to invest it. Even if you don't invest this money, you can at least use it to pay off a loan or mortgage. Early paying off a loan at 7% per year is comparable to investing in something that brings you 7% profit, or you can use this money to create a side business. For me personally, this is one of the best ways to invest because the return on investment is quite high. The author recommends investing it in a pension fund. The book gives a lot of advice on how to do this, but it is mainly for U.S. citizens. If you are interested in investing in pension funds, do some research to find out what pension funds are offered in your country before moving on to the next part of the video. I would like to show you another table. Unfortunately, there was no one who would show it to me when I was 15 years old. If you are young, this table can change your life. The table shows that 3 people, Bill, Susan, and Kim, invest $3,000 a year, about $8.3 a day, and all 3 receive 10% per year on their investments. Bill starts investing at age 15 and invests for 5 years before age 19, then stops investing and lets his savings grow without investing anything else. Susan starts investing at age 19 and invests for 8 years until age 26. Finally, Kim starts investing at age 27 and continues investing until age 65. Similar to Susan and Bill, she invests $3,000 a year, but does it for 39 years. The big question here is who will have the most money by the age of 65. If you think that Kim has invested the largest amount for the longest time, then you are mistaken. In fact, among the 3 of them, she will have the least of all. Here are their figures at 65 years old. Kim has about $1.3 million in total. She invested $117,000 over a period of 39 years. Susan has $1.5 million. In just 8 years, she invested $24,000. And finally, Bill has $1.6 million. He invested $15,000 over a 5-year period. As you can see, he invested the least amount of time and money, but despite this, he will receive the most money. Why? Simply because he started earlier. That's how important time plays in investments. Let's summarize what was said in the first part. We talked about finding your latte factor, and as I mentioned earlier, the purpose of the latte factor exercise is to help you realize that you are already earning enough to invest and become rich. After doing the exercise, if you want to go even further and take your money game to the next level, you need to do one more thing. You need to start paying yourself first. You probably know this concept. I will not go into detail on it here. I will just try to explain why you should pay yourself first. We people are bad at many things, one of which is budget planning. Budget planning is similar to counting calories. When you're on a diet, you do it for a few days, maybe weeks, but then you stop. So if you don't budget for payments to yourself, you'll very likely end up paying everyone but yourself. You have to prioritize and get paid first, like states do. The government didn't always take part of your salary before you even saw it. For example, until 1943, people got their money when they earned it, and they weren't required to pay income taxes until the following spring. However, from the government's point of view, there was a disadvantage to this system. People couldn't calculate their budget well enough so that they would have enough money left over to pay their taxes next spring when the payment deadline came. Think about this. There were smart people in the government many years ago. They realized that people don't know how to plan a budget, so the government created a system that would guarantee that they would be paid first. They not only organized payments according to this principle, but also automated the process to avoid possible problems for the state. Came up with an almost ideal way to guarantee that they would always receive their money without any buts. If you now need to do the same, you need to create a system that guarantees that you will be paid, a system in which you first pay yourself. Here we come to the most important thing of automation, and I'm glad that the author also talks about this. No matter how much you pay yourself or where you invest the money, it's done automatically. It's difficult to overestimate the importance of automation. The two most important things that can be learned from this video are, first, pay yourself first, and second, do it automatically. If you are not disciplined enough to do it yourself every month, just take it for granted. The author claims that in 9 years he has seen many people who tried to do it manually, relying on discipline, all but one failed. Finally, I would like to say a few words about the book itself. It contains quite a lot of practical advice, but some of it is applicable only to U.S. citizens. I really enjoyed the latte factor exercise and the chapters on paying yourself first and automation. There is one thing that I don't like, not only in this book, but in many books on personal finance. There's too much focus on retirement and talking about how wonderful life will be when you finally retire at 65 with $1 million. I personally find it boring, and I don't know if I'll be healthy enough to enjoy this money at 65. I would like to see more financial books that talk about how to become rich at a young age. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that long-term retirement investing is bad or that you shouldn't do it. Personally, I do this too, but I don't rely solely on it. This is a useful thing, especially since it does not require much effort once you set it up and it starts working for you. Personally, I pay special attention to getting rich at a young age through my own business. But I understand that most people who watch this video do not need it, and this is completely normal. In the next few videos, I will try to tell you more about how to become rich in your youth. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and see you soon.